up, everybody? Coach Felix coming at you from Fitness Grind Body Sculpting Studio. Now, I want to talk to you about something today. And today, we're going to discuss this idea of skinny fat and fat. And what I want you guys to understand, let me adjust my camera here real quick. There we go. What I want you guys to understand is the difference between skinny fat and obese. Now, I don't know any other way than to put it this way. So again, this isn't about fat shaming. This isn't about like talking smack and trying to hurt people's feelings. This is about just an understanding that that there's a major difference between both. And again, if I apologize if this comes off wrong, but this is not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is have you understand that these two ideas are completely different, okay? And more often than not, I've been meeting a lot of people that in their mind they feel that they're leaner that they expect, and they're not. They're weighing willy-nilly numbers, but they don't have any muscle in their body. And then you got the complete opposite of women who they look themselves in the mirror and they know that they're larger than they should be or that they want to be. So it's obviously evident that they got a lot more body fat than they should. Now, again, speculation, but this is not about trying to hurt people's feelings or trying to put anybody down. I just want to go over some things, okay? So, before we move forward, there's 3 things that I believe you should take into account when it comes to your body composition. Number 1 is obviously your weight. Now, it's not all about the weight, but we want to know what the weight is, right? Number 2, body fat percentage. And with the body fat percentage comes several things. Besides the body fat percentage, body fat mass. How much of the total weight of your body is, well, we'll say 4 things. How about that? We'll say 4 things. How much of the weight is actual fat mass, right? So number 3 will be body fat mass. And then number 4, skeletal muscle mass. Now, you notice that I didn't discuss lean body mass, right? Most of the time when you're looking at composition, it's usually weight, body fat, and lean body mass, right? Now, if your machine or the device that you use is limited to check, check body fat mass and skeletal muscle mass, then lean body mass is cool. But for this specific purpose, we're not going to use lean body mass because my device is very detailed to the point where we can check skeletal muscle mass, which I think is more important. Lean body mass still encompasses water and poop, right? Excuse me, plus muscle. So we don't want to account for that. We want to account for actual skeletal muscle mass. That's it. Now, why are these things important? Well, recently I had a woman, multiple women that I've had the pleasure of meeting and was able to do a body transformation analysis on them, which is a session where we go over your body fat mass, your lean body mass, how much muscle you have, how much fat you have, etc., etc. And one of these ladies weighed 120 pounds, right? She's 5'4". Now, when you think of those numbers, like those numbers are good, right? 5'4", 120 pounds. Okay, cool. Lean, not obese, right? You think of that number, you think like a bikini body. Her BMI was like 25%, something like that, which is in a normal range for her, right? It's in a normal range. But here's what, so when I look at this woman, when she came out, I looked at, okay, slender woman. I look at her and I see how she moves, and she can't really handle her body well, like the way she moves. Like she moved very, very cautious, like she was in pain. So I began to ask her questions, like, how's your back, how's your knees, And, there's some discomfort there. But it's the way she was managing her weight. And at 5'4", 120 pounds, you should be able to manage that weight well, unless there's some other things that are not being exposed that need to be exposed that are important when it comes to transformation. So I put it through a body composition test, and we check this stuff. Now, her BMI is 25%, which is normal. You go to a doctor, that's what they're going to base things off of. They're like, oh, you know, so this is a woman who, I don't know, I'm going to guess, who may have been told that everything is fine with her because her BMI is 25%. But here's the problem with the BMI, is the BMI, it's body mass index, right? So it just measures mass in whatever its entirety is, which means that it doesn't tell you the difference between body fat and muscle. So you can be 25% BMI, but have way more body fat than you would muscle. So we go over to look at her body fat. Now her body fat was a whopping 37%. Now, on the scale, when it comes to fat, that is actually obese. Very obese. So what does that mean? Well, if you was to have a conversation with a person and you said, hey, how you doing? My name is Coach Felix. What's your name? Hey, my name is Nancy. Okay, Nancy. How old are you? I'm 35 years old. Awesome. How tall are you? I'm 5'3". Okay, what is your body fat percentage? 37%. Just based on those three numbers in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, this woman is probably about 220 pounds. Because typically, someone who is that high in body fat percentage, right, what the norm is, or what society has a tendency of saying what fat really is, right, because they look at the visual as opposed to what's happening inside as well. Although we can look at certain things and it be common sense, but in reality, it's the bigger picture. There's multiple things that must be taken into account for, right? We can't just judge a book by its cover. It's just, you know, we won't do that here, right? We're going to look at all the facts. Now, if she tells me that, I'm thinking, okay, this woman's going to be over 170. Because in my general experience, when I've met women with that high percent body fat, they're typically over 170, 175. But this is one of those rare studies, rare cases, where that's not the norm. And this is what I call skinny fat, right? So if my, I'm trying to get my camera to go up a little bit. Sorry, some technical difficulties here. Hold on, let me make sure that, bam. So if I, when she came in, or when she comes in and I take a look at her, then I'm able to visually see, okay, I get it. A lot of body fat, not enough muscle in the body. That's one of the reasons why it's very difficult for her to control herself. So we can't just get stuck on the BMI. We can't just get stuck on the weight. We can't just get stuck, on just like one or two things. We need to know what else is going on besides the weight and besides the BMI. And body fat's the key. What causes issues long term with heart health, your body breaking down, pain, inflammation, all those things, all of that it's fat. It's fat. Now, the general norm, right, is if you weigh more than you're supposed to weigh, the general you may have more fat that you're supposed to, but that's not always the case. Case in point, me. I'm 262 at 12% body fat. So, like I'm at the elite, at the 1%. Technically my body has more muscle than it's supposed to have, right? But it's not something that I put on overnight. I'm able to manage to deal with it. So does that make me unhealthy? No. Does it make me super, super healthy? Well, yes and no. But as of right now, yes, because I don't have any ailments going on. But maybe carrying too much muscle could be a problem for my joints, right? Which doesn't affect my blood pressure, cholesterol, or being a pre-diabetic or anything, but it affects my well-being. Like my elbows hurt and my back hurts and my knees hurt. If that was the case, that's not the case, but if that was the case. So there's so many factors, right? Based on the lifestyle and the health that you want. So back to this. Now, weight, body fat mass, skeletal muscle mass. These are the things that we look for before we start the process on helping you create the blueprint to get the transformation you desire. Not only that, but to also keep the transformation you desire. Guaranteed, where you never go back to the way it used to be. Because not only do we measure this stuff all the time, week by week by week, we look for trends. And those trends are dictated by your behavior. which is dictated by your habits. So all of those things must change over time to solidify the results that you acquire at the end, whatever that is for you. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah? No? If it doesn't, let me know in the comments below. If it does, give me a thumbs up or love or wherever you're looking at this. Show me some love. I'm going to move forward. So that's on the skinny fat. So for this woman, my main thing for her right away is, hey, we got to put muscle on your body, because if we don't put muscle on your body, there's going to be some long-term issues physically for you as you get older. You know, when you start getting into the 50s, mid-50s, 60-year-olds, you may have to have a hip replacement. Your knees may get jacked up. Your ligaments and tendons may tear. There may be some things that may happen that are going to be way harder to deal with at an older age than at the whopping age of mid-40s or whatever her age was. I don't want to tell your age because I don't want to tell you who the person is. But let's just say she wasn't, like, I'm 37, okay? She was older than me. So there's a lot of detail that goes into this. And it's more than just, like, what meets the eye, okay? At FGP, we're very surgical with how we do things. And it's important for it to be that way because that should be the standard. And that's what needs to happen to completely make the transformation. And it's not about losing the most weight ever, because you can do a detox for a month, cut off, and lose 30 pounds of water weight. And as soon as you eat a hamburger, gain 15 pounds and then go crazy, right? Because the weight doesn't tell the whole story. We got to know what the body fat percentage is. We got to know what the body fat mass is, and we got to know what the skeletal muscle mass is if you want to complete the transformation. Okay, hopefully I didn't beat that up too much. Actually, I did. I'll move on. So, her focus, reduce this body fat and increase the muscle. Right? Well, how do you do that? Well, more protein, more carbohydrates. Just because you want to put on some size doesn't mean it's more protein. It might be more carbohydrates. Might healthier fats. There's got to be balance in your eating. There's got to be a good fitness regimen. There's got to, you got to have resistance training. You can't just do cardio only. You don't always have to lift heavy, but there's got to be some heavy lifting. It could be volume. There's an array of different things that can happen to help you get those results. But there isn't just one thing. Okay, there isn't one shoe fits all. It doesn't work that way. Not when it comes to fitness and transformation, okay? There's a bunch of things that must take place that must be customized and personalized over time. As you evolve, your program must evolve. That's how you prevent plateaus, and that's how you guarantee results, okay? So that's the skinny fat side. Now, let me erase some of this so I can make some room here. So, now that we understand that, now let's go to the obese side, right? So you look at a woman, let's say a woman is like 5'6", right? And her weight is 190. Now, if somebody was to read that, they're like, oh my God, this woman's fat. Right away, that's what people say. It's not the cool thing to say, but that's what people think, right? I'll be honest. Back in my day, I mean, even to this day, like, that's what I would think, right? It's just what it is, Now, and when I say back in my day, when I first started off as a transformation coach and really sort of, like really getting into my craft and understanding what this really meant for people on transforming their lives. But again, those numbers don't tell all, right? Because here's a scenario that I have in my studio today. Is I have a woman, she doesn't weigh 190, but it's up there, 5'7", 5'8". But here, check this out. Her body fat percentage is 27%, which is slightly above normal. So what does that tell me about this woman? She got massive amounts of muscle, right? She's thicker, but got good amounts of muscle. And here's the kicker. No blood pressure issues, no cholesterol issues, not pre-diabetic, right? No diabetes issues. Strong, fit. She wants to get to the low 20s in body fat because she wants to be lean. But she has a good amount of muscle. And the beautiful thing about that is that because she has a decent foundation with that, her being able to burn fat and work out like strenuously and very effectively without worrying about possible injury in a controlled environment is like a perfect scenario, right? So these are also rare cases, because if I was on the phone with this woman and I asked her, hey, how tall are you? She was 5'6". Awesome. Thanks, I'll say Michelle for lack of better words. Thanks, Michelle. How much do you weigh? 190 pounds. Right away, I'm thinking of this big woman, right? Over 35% body fat, 40% body fat. But in this case, that is not the case, right? This woman is slightly above normal, right? In like 3-4 months, 23% body fat, completely different person. Will look like a completely different person. Will lose some weight, but it has a really solid foundation, right? She doesn't come from a powerlifting background. She doesn't come from an Olympic lifting background. She doesn't come from a heavy. She's just an individual who puts on muscle very, very well, right? So her nutrition protocol, her fitness protocol, everything will be different in relation to the way she is because she's just a completely different person than the way she is. So that's, again, a different scenario. Now, we look at a woman, let's say kind of similar, right? But this time she's 5'10". She's tall, right? And let's just say she's 180. Without me knowing her body fat percentage, right? I can say, okay, cool. So this woman might be on the heavier side. She's tall, so she's got long limbs, so she may carry a good amount of muscle. Now, if I check her body fat, check her body fat mass and check her skeletal muscle mass, again, these are close to real stories here, right? Not 100%, but close. And her body fat percentage, just say that's 32%, right? Does that mean that she may be very large? No, because she's tall, right? As opposed, if this was like 5'2", 180, then she could be very large as far as circumference-wise, the way she looks. Does that make sense? You can't, like, me as a body transformation expert, I can't assume that somebody looks a certain way without visually seeing them and knowing all the facts. Now, I can make some form of speculation, but at the end of the day, that's just biased opinion. And like, I'm not God. I need to meet them in person. I need to put them on a machine or get a picture of them, put them on a machine, find out what's going on inside, and then get the facts, and then really know what's going on before I can say, hey, look, this is what I recommend to start your transformational journey. Which is why we're so meticulous about the way we do things around here. Now, this is going to lead me back to what the purpose of this video was. So, those are the things that we check. Now, have you ever heard the term that muscle weighs more than fat? And if you have, do you believe that to be true? I want to give you a second to put a comment below. Let me know. Yes or no? Does muscle weigh more than fat, and do you believe that to be true? Go. We'll give it like 10 seconds. While you're thinking about that, I'm going to draw something. Okay, time's up. So hopefully you put an answer below. Now, I'm going to ask you this question again. Do you believe that muscle weighs more than fat? And then I'm going to add a number to that. Do you believe that 5 pounds of muscle weighs more than 5 pounds of fat? Hopefully, you got what I was getting at, and your answer is no. And this is why. 5 pounds of fat, 5 pounds of muscle. What is the common denominator between both? The 5 pounds. 5 pounds is 5 pounds. They both weigh the same. It doesn't matter where you go with that. But what I want you to understand is that this is 5 pounds of fat. Let me see. Oh, look at that. It's pretty close. Working on my drawing skills. So, 5 pounds of fat. It's a pretty big piece of thing here, right? That's 5 pounds. Now, 5 pounds of fat and 5 pounds of muscle both weigh the same. The difference is that 5 pounds of fat takes up more space. Okay? It takes up more space. So when you look at this idea, right? 5 pounds of muscle, 5 pounds of fat. 5 pounds of muscle just takes up less space. Okay? So if you have two different bodies, let me draw a body here. Let me see. This is where my drawing skills come into play here. And my camera's over here tripping. Okay, let me see here. Hopefully, sorry for the technical difficulties here. I'm sure you don't want to see my big, bald, shiny head. Okay, 5 pounds of fat, 5 pounds of muscle. Now, I'm going to draw 2 bodies. These are going to be my representation of women or men, whatever you decide, but I'm going to try my best here. So, these are 2 people. Both of them are 5'5". Both of them weigh 150. One has 23% body fat. The other has 37% body fat. Now, the only thing that you know about both these people is that you know that they're both female. They're both 5'5", and they both weigh 150 pounds. You don't know what the body fat is yet. So, the 5'5" female, 150, 23% body fat looks something like this. It's going to be kind of like a stick figure. Let me see if I can do this right. And then that's the head. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, my drawing skills suck. Thankfully, I'm a coach and not a drawing guy. Although I used to be able to draw when I was a lot better when I was a kid. So that's what 5'5", 150 pounds at 23% body fat look like. Now, 5'5", 150 pounds at 37% body fat, this is what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that. 2 completely looking physiques. Both with the same weight, same height, same gender, but difference in body fat. Why? Because as I showed you with this puppy, body fat takes up more space. So, we have more body fat in these areas of this woman than we do with this woman. She has more muscle. 37% body fat, 23% body fat. But if you didn't know those 2 values, those 2 figures, and they were both, you would look and wonder, why is it that woman looks different than the other, but they weigh the same and they're the same height? Because there's numbers, there's other figures involved that we do not know, that we must know in order to find the best plausible answer and solution for the results that they need. How this woman gets coached and how this woman gets coached will be two different ways. The principle is still the same. Lean, tight, and tone. Lean, tight, and tone. They both want that. They're just at different levels and different paths in their life. So they will get coached differently to the same outcome. So hopefully you found some value in this video. And if you did, please share it to somebody that needs to hear this. Again, this is Coach Felix coming from Fitness Grind Body Sculpting Studio. You are not alone on this journey. It's supposed to be hard, and we're here to help you. Okay? Again, it's not supposed to be complicated, but it's not going to be easy. And don't forget, we're in this together. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.